Welcome to Central Washington University's Running Start Frequently Asked Questions for CWU Sammamish. These are questions that are often asked in our in-person information sessions, and if you are looking to go to the Sammamish campus, then you are in the right place. If you have any questions, you can contact Chelsea Braun. She is our Running Start advisor at the Sammamish campus, and she is a great resource and knows a lot about the program and can answer questions that you have. If you are seeking support while you are in Running Start, there is free tutoring in writing, math, and a lot of other subjects as well, and that is available online through the Academic Success Center. And so if you are needing someone to read your paper before you submit it or have a question about math, you can submit your questions online and someone will be there to assist you. You also have free access to library resources via the Brooks Library online. And so if you go to CWU Library, there is a lot of research available for you to look at if you are doing a research paper or you need to find out if you need to use a peer-reviewed article or not or things like that. The librarians can help you and they are available online. And then there's also academic and personal support from the Running Start office. And so if you ever have any questions or need to get connected to resources, please seek out the Running Start office and especially Chelsea so that they will be able to help answer your questions, get you connected to the right people. And then the Sammamish campus is very small and instructors are often available in their offices before and after classes. So if you have class-specific questions, your instructor should be able to help you. And then if you have an IEP or 504 plan in your high school, you are encouraged to create an account on the Disability Services website and request accommodations. You do need to provide documentation, and you can start that with your IEP or your 504 plan. And so if you are needing any additional time when you take tests or anything like that, this is where you would seek out those accommodations. And then each quarter, you will meet with your high school counselor to review your high school requirements and determine which classes you still need to graduate. It is really important that you are taking your high school requirements because once you complete those, then you don't have to worry about, your senior year in your last quarter that you haven't taken biology yet and is not offered. So making sure that you are doing your classes that you need to graduate first is really important. And after you complete those, then you can take any classes that you want. And so you will meet with your high school counselor every quarter, and then there are equivalency guides for every high school in the area. And so there should be specific classes at your high school, and then the classes that you can take here in order to satisfy your high school requirements. Then you can review the quarterly class schedule that is offered online, and you can see the classes that are available for the quarter that you are wanting to take classes at Central. If you need to take English, unless you have previously taken English 101 at another college or have taken the AP Language and Composition exam and earned a 3 or higher, if you've done either of those two things, then you can automatically get placed into a higher level English and you will not have to take the placement exam. And if you've not done those things, then you will just need to submit test scores showing that you are eligible for English 101. Acceptable tests include the Smarter Balance exam, CWU English Placement exam, the ACT, and also the SAT. And these are specific for English and they do not place you into math. So just know that these tests are only for placement into English. If you need to take math, you probably will need to take a test to enroll for a math class at CWU. Exceptions to this include taking the AP Calculus exam and earning a 3 or higher, or if you took a college and the high school math class. And this will really depend on which class you took in a college and the high school. If you are wanting to take pre-calculus and you took Math 101 in college and the high school, that is not a prerequisite. So you would still have to take the math placement exam in order to get into pre-calculus. Whereas if you took Pre-Calc 1 in college and the high school and wanted to take Pre-Calc 2, you probably would be able to just go right into Pre-Calc 2 without having to take the placement test. And then acceptable tests that you can take to get into math are the ALEX exam and the AccuPlacer Next Generation Math exam. And then CW Sammamish is actually offering multivariable calculus. And so if you're interested in enrolling in that, you will be eligible to enroll in multivariable calc next fall if you are currently taking AP Calculus BC at your high school and you earn a 3, 4, or 5 on your AP exam. The AP test results are available in July. If you need to take a foreign language, you are encouraged to start fall quarter as these classes go over the entire year. So you start in fall and you end in spring. So if you miss fall quarter, it's going to be super, super hard to catch up and get into the next one. The only way to get into the next one is to take a placement exam. And unless you have a lot of previous experience in that language, you probably won't place into that next quarter. So you have to start fall quarter if you are planning to take a foreign language. When you are thinking about taking a foreign language, they are expecting you to have 2 years or less in that language. And so if you've taken 1 or 2 years in high school for a specific language, you'll just go into the introductory level in the college level. And it is totally fine if you've never taken foreign language in high school, you can still start at the same level in college. And then if you are proficient in a specific area, so say you speak Spanish fluently, you can actually take a placement test to get placed into a higher level. So maybe you are proficient enough to get placed into Spanish for heritage speakers, and that way you wouldn't have to take all the introductory level. If you want to take that placement test for a foreign language, you can please contact the main office at 425-392-2110. And then the class sizes at Sammamish are relatively small. Most of the classes are around 25 students. And then the core classes needed for high school graduation, like English 101 or a math class, will often have 20 to 25 students. Average class size is relatively small, usually around 10 to 15, which is a really good size, especially if you're wanting to ask questions or get help on a specific area. That 10 to 15 students is a really, really great size. And then Running Start students can take any classes they meet the prerequisite for, including online classes. And so if you are wanting to take English 102, if you've already taken and completed English 101, then that is the prereq, so then you can continue on into English 102, even if it is taught online. And then please be aware that online classes can fill up super quickly, and not every single class is taught online. There are specific classes that are taught online, and others that are not ever taught online or are only taught in person. And so it is important to know that if you're planning to do completely online classes, that you do not want to wait until your senior year, your last quarter, to take a specific class if you want to take it online, because it either may not be taught that quarter or not taught online at all. And so then you would have to take the class in person to graduate on time. And then you may have to take an in-person class if the class you need to graduate is not available online. And so that's something to keep in mind as well, of making sure that you're planning that into your schedule and looking ahead in order to know which classes you're going to be able to take online and which ones you still have to take in person. And then please note also that online classes do have additional fees. It is typically around $40 per online class, and sometimes it's a little bit more, but it's typically around that $40 range. So if you are full-time and you are taking 3 online classes and $40 per class, that money does start to add up over time. So just knowing that there are those additional fees when signing up for an online class. And then you do have to pay for textbooks, and so it really depends on which class you are taking for how much that book is going to cost. Some instructors use online textbooks that you can only get them online, and other professors or instructors will use print textbooks where it's an actual physical copy. And then these books, whether online or for the physical print, will be $20 to $200. The more expensive textbooks are usually for the sciences, like the calculus classes or Bio 181, things like that, and also the foreign language classes, because these classes are typically taught over the course of the entire year. And so you're going to buy your textbook at the beginning of the year and most likely use that same textbook for the rest of the year, and that's why it's so expensive. And then typically it is a good idea to budget around $300 per quarter for textbooks. It may be a little bit less than this, it may be more depending on the classes you're taking. If you're taking all science and foreign language classes, it'll probably be more expensive than this. And if you're taking classes that do not have as many textbooks or the textbooks are just cheaper, it may be less, but $300 is a pretty good starting point for budgeting. If you need help purchasing textbooks, we have a book loan program available, and these are for students that are receiving free or reduced lunch at their high school, receive public assistance, have a parent receiving unemployment, who are a foster youth, or have any other reason that would prevent them from purchasing textbooks. And we can typically purchase most books for students that need them that qualify for the program. Students who do not qualify for the book loan program may want to consider renting or purchasing used textbooks, as they are usually cheaper. And then for parking at Sammamish, you are not required to display a parking pass or anything like that. It is totally free to park on campus. but you are asked not to park in the corner of the lot closest to 228th Avenue, as Microsoft employees use that area. So you can park anywhere around in the parking lot other than that specific area. So as far as savings go, students may take up to 15 credits a quarter with the Running Start program, depending on how many classes they take at their high school. CWU charges $2,757.46 in tuition and fees for 15 credits a quarter. So you are saving close to $3,000 per quarter when you take classes at CWU. Students attending full-time for fall, winter, and spring can save over $8,000 a year on tuition and fees. So if this is your junior year and you're planning to be full-time for 2 years, that's going to be double the amount of savings, which is a really, really great opportunity. Running Start students tend to do very well in their courses. Last fall, 45% of Running Start students earned a 3.5 or higher GPA, which is a very high GPA. The average GPA for Running Start students overall is a 3.3, which again is very, very high. 90% of our students meet academic standards, which is above a 2.0. And then on average, students take around 10 credits a quarter, which means that they are taking typically at least 2 classes and still receiving that really high GPA. So they're doing very, very well in the program. If you need help or don't know what to do, please feel free to give our main office a call at 425-392-2110 or stop by our office and speak with one of the Running Start advisors. We are always here to help you and happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you so much for joining us today in our online information session. If one of your questions was not answered, please feel free to contact us so that we can answer your specific question. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.